Is this the year for Baltimore? Are Burrow, Chase, and Higgins enough for Cincinnati? What exactly should we expect from Cleveland? And just what on earth was Pittsburgh doing during the offseason? What's going on, guys? Dick Support here, back to another video. Today we're talking about the AFC North, a division that could go a number of ways depending on how certain teams perform. Yeah, let's just jump right in with the Baltimore Ravens. Alright, with the Baltimore Ravens, we got to start off with this new look secondary. Marcus Williams and Brandon Stevens are out. In come Chidobe Awuzie from free agency, first round pick Malachi Starks, and Jair Alexander, who was cut by the Green Bay Packers and actually took less money to join Lamar and Baltimore. Wow, this is pretty big because throughout the first half of 2024, they were the worst secondary in the NFL. And then they made some adjustments and the secondary got back on track. And now you add these pieces along with Marlon Humphrey, who right now might be the best nickel defender in the NFL. Nate Wiggins, who I would expect to have a breakout season. And Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in the NFL. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He's going to get a big payday coming up. You add those pieces to it, this secondary could be very, very good this season. And you really can't wait to see what they do with these other pieces on defense with Woquan Smith at the middle linebacker position, Odafe Owe, and Kyle Van Noy coming off double-digit sack seasons. Of course, they just drafted Mike Green in the second round. Now, on the defensive line, Michael Pierce is gone, but they still have Nnamdi Madubuike. Broderick Washington is there, and Travis Jones should fit in as a nice replacement for Pierce. But for Pierce, I mean, he probably had the biggest interception, quite literally, from 2024. That interception that he had against the Browns, that's going to be played on highlights for a long time. But on the offensive side of the ball, Derrick Henry is back. Rashad Bateman just got a contract extension, and Zay Flowers is healthy after suffering an injury late in the season that caused him to miss the playoffs. And Lamar Jackson just had a season that was insane. 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, over 4,000 yards, and he lost the MVP to Josh Allen. Yeah, does he come back with a vengeance? Could he put up an even better season in 2025? Honestly, with Lamar, it would not shock me with what he's done throughout his career. Now, they do have to figure out the guard position. Daniel Falele is back, but he will have competition for that starting guard spot. Andrew Voorhees is probably the favorite to win the other guard spot, but anything can happen in the NFL. But they just re-signed Ronnie Stanley, and Rosengard just had a tremendous rookie season at the right tackle position, so the bookends are solid. Tyler Linderbaum, he's going to be the highest paid center very soon. It's just the guard positions that they need to figure out. I mean, this Baltimore team, really, you don't get into the conversation of what they can do until you get to January. Can they finally exercise their demons and make a run to the Super Bowl? We're going to find out. All right, let's just start off with Cincinnati just by talking about Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Chase and Higgins both got long-term deals done, and I'm kind of shocked they got Higgins done. I really didn't think that was going to come. I didn't think they were going to be able to pay both, but they did. But that also means over 30% of cap space is tied up with those 3 players. And there's a bigger issue right now with Cincinnati, and that's Trey Hendrickson, their best defensive player, who probably could have won Defensive Player of the Year last year had it not been for the year Patrick Surtain had. But anyway, he wants a new contract, he deserves a new contract, and he's not doing anything until he gets that new contract. And Cincinnati just hasn't made any progress towards that. And to top it all off, Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick in this year's draft, he's holding out as well because the Bengals are really trying to put some language in the contract that they haven't done before. They didn't do that with last year's first-round pick, but they're trying to do it with Stewart, and he's fighting back on that. I'm with Stewart on this one. It's just kind of slimy to what the Bengals are trying to do with Stewart. The fact they used the first round pick on him, and they're trying to put this language in there to where the guaranteed money would be void, and it looks like it could be anything that the Bengals just say is detrimental to the team, not really specific on what exactly that would be. At least that's how I see it. All right, that's just how I see it. I could be completely wrong on this. That's just what it seems like to me. But those are two big pieces that you really don't want to go into the season with that. You don't want to go into the season without your first round pick, but you also don't want to go into the season with that your best defensive player. So what's going to happen with those two guys? Not entirely sure. With the running game, Zach Moss just didn't get it done last year as the Bengals' #1 back, and the offensive line is still a work in progress. It's still not where you want it to be, and the defense was one of the worst in the NFL last year. Not a lot of improvements there. Jermaine Pratt is gone. That's kind of an addition by subtraction, but can DJ Turner and Dax Hill have breakout seasons? Well, Miles Murphy shows something on that defensive front seven, and really just what is this Bengals team gonna be able to do on the defense side of the ball? Can they show improvement even with not making too many additions on this team? I just don't know. Do they have enough? I mean, that's the big question right now with Cincinnati. We know how high-powered that passing attack is. It's one of the best in the NFL, but the rest of the team needs to be solid as well. This is just going to be tough. It's one where you could see them compete, but you could also see them falter. It's just really tough. We just don't know what to expect with this Bengals team because we don't know how the rest of the team's going to perform besides this passing game. We know how dominant it's going to be. We just don't know about the rest of the team. I'm going to say something that we've never heard before. The Browns have an issue at quarterback. I know you can read the sarcasm off my face, but this is something really that we need to talk about. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. I have no idea what the plan is for quarterback for this entire season. My guess is Flacco's going to start week 1, Kenny Pickett's going to be the backup, but other than that, I have no idea. I could realistically see all 4 of these quarterbacks getting playing time throughout the whole season. I could see all 4 of them starting at least one game. Now, maybe Gabriel or Sanders show something that they could be a potential franchise quarterback for them throughout the season, but I just don't know. First of all, I don't know what's going on with this receiving core. Jerry Jeudy had a great season last year, and David Njoku, when he is on the field, he is one of the better tight ends in the league, but who else is there? Cedric Tillman hasn't broken out yet. Deontay Johnson, well, we know the situations he's had with the last few places he's been. Caden Davis, Jamari Thrash, DeAndre Carter. It just doesn't seem like there's really an answer beyond Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku with the receiving core. On the defense side of the ball, Myles Garrett got a contract extension. He got paid a lot of money, and he definitely deserved it. He is probably one of the top 3 best defensive players in the NFL. You could say he's the best defensive player in the NFL. I'd say he's the best defensive player in the NFL. I don't know how others feel about that, but that's what I would say. And they got Mason Graham in the first round, and Mason Graham, I think he might have been the top defensive player, not named Abdul Carter, in the NFL draft. Who else is going to be there? Who else can step up and help out this defense? Jay, okay, is not going to play this year, and we don't know if he'll ever play football again. Carson Sloaninger, I know I completely butchered that. I am sorry. More than likely will be a starter as a second-round pick rookie. And in the secondary, I mean, Denzel Ward is a bona fide star in this league, but Greg Newsome hasn't really had the career so far that you would want to see from my first-round pick. And there's a lot of good, solid players, but man, it just seems like right now with the Browns, they're definitely in a transition period. But it seems like they're always in a transition period. When does it stop for the Browns? When do we really start to see them have long-term success again? We know what Kevin Stefanski has done since he's been the Browns head coach. Now, what's it going to take for him to keep his job and show that he can still be the Browns head coach going forward? If it's a really bad season like it was last year, I mean, don't be surprised that Kevin's gone, even though he's done a lot of good things since taking over as the Browns head coach. Speaking of quarterback issues, the Steelers also had questions of who was going to be the starter for them after both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields were allowed to walk in free agency. They got back Mason Rudolph. Also, they drafted Will Howard. But ultimately, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback for them, and this could potentially be his final season in the NFL. And not only did they get Rodgers, they traded for DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. From the Miami Dolphins, they got Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Oh, and they also got Darius Slay, big play Slay, from the Philadelphia Eagles. And he's coming off a Super Bowl championship. Now, the only issue I have with this is Rodgers is in his 40s now, Darius Slay's in his mid-30s, and Jalen Ramsey just turned 30. And Jonnu Smith is in his 30s as well. Yeah, so they're clearly trying to go all in, but is this really the way to do it? And also, they got DK Metcalf, but they also traded George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, and in the trade that brought Ramsey and Smith to Pittsburgh, they gave back Micah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins. And I know Fitzpatrick, he was injured in 2023, and 2024 was not his best year, but at his best, he is still a top 5 safety in the NFL, and he's still only 28 years old. So we shall see if this actually pays off for them. Also, at running back, Najee Harris is gone. Jaylen Warren's going to take over as the number 1 back. Is he ready to handle the bulk of the carries? We shall find out. But also on defense, I have a big question about Cam Hayward. He's also getting up there in age. He's in his mid-30s. How much more does he have left in the tank? How much longer is he going to play? And then there's TJ Watt. TJ Watt wants a new deal, and they're not making any progress, and he is not with the team right now. Hopefully they get that solved really soon, because TJ Watt is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. And I know Alex Highsmith had a very good season last year, but he is not TJ Watt. He just is not. And also, trying to replace Micah Fitzpatrick at the safety position, there's still a lot of questions with the Steelers. Look, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as an NFL head coach, and he definitely doesn't want this year to be the first. He wants another Super Bowl. The Steelers want another Super Bowl. They're going all in. Well, their version of going all in. Will it work out, or will it not? We're going to find out. And also, on the offensive line, the bookends, Troy Furtado and Broderick Jones. Do those two have breakout seasons? Can those two show what they can do this year? Once again, we're not going to know until the season starts. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on the AFC North teams. Next up is going to be the NFC North. Let me know what you think about each team down in the comments below. Do the Bengals and Steelers really have enough? Can the Ravens overcome their demons? And once again, what should we expect from the Browns? Well, as always, I'll see you guys next time.